Today we're going to brew a Milkshake IPA. Usually you hear Milkshake Stout, Milk Something Porter, but I wanted to switch it up. I've never made a Milkshake IPA. I don't think I've had one, so we might as well brew one. So stay tuned, let's get it going. So here is the base recipe for this Milkshake Stout. 11 pounds, 2 row, which would be 65.7% of my grain bill. 2 pounds, 8 ounces of flaked oats, which would be 14.9% of my grain bill. 4 ounces of acidulated, which is 1.5% of my grain bill, and 2 pounds of lactose, which is 11.9. Now on the lactose, the recipe, one of the recipes that I did look at called for 1.5 pounds instead of the 2 pounds, but at my local homebrew shop they sell it in packs, 1 pound packets, so we're dumping both of those in there.
This recipe also called for 1 pound of rice hulls, so I did pick those up and put them in there. When I put my flaked oats and my rice hulls in, I do it after I crush my grains. I'm sure some people put the oats in the mill, but I don't, and I don't think people should, just because those oats will get stuck in the crusher, and then you have some grains that don't get crushed. So moving on to the mash in, we're looking for 155, 156 as our mash in temp. It was a cold day, so I did leave the grains in the house until I was ready. And for my mash in water, I did raise it a little bit more. 172 I think is what it showed, but yeah, so I think it was like 35 out this day. So get everything in there. Again, if you're gonna do it on a cold day, leave your grains inside, so that way the grains are kind of room temperature and you don't have to worry about heating your water up even more before you put it in there, because obviously cold grains are going to bring down the water temperature. So incorporate everything, get it going. I did hit 155 on this, so that's good enough. I didn't have my Beersmith log because my printer ran out of ink, so I couldn't use that. So at the end of the mash in, we did stay at 155, show that. So we didn't lose a point or anything, so that's good. So on to the Vloroff. I think the rice hulls did help a lot here. I didn't get it stuck sparge, and it was clearer sooner. If you go back and look at any of my other brew day videos recently, I've had a problem with how many pitchers I had to fill up. Our first runnings came in at 17.75 bricks, so that's pretty good. And again, I didn't have my log, so I'm not sure what it wanted me to hit. But here's the mash out. This was 4 gallons of water. I left a gallon in the kettle that I have to dump out, but mix it all up, disturb that grain bed, and then we're going to let it sit for 15 minutes before we do the second Vloroff, which is fine. You want to try and let that water get some of that sugar, the rest of the sugar out of those grains, so 15 minutes. So our only hop addition at the boil is Centennial, half an ounce right at the start of boil, and then all the other hops will be dry hops. Now for the lactose in this, if you want, you can use 1.5 pounds, or if you want, just use the 2 pounds. I don't really use lactose that much, so that's why I just went ahead and used the 2 packets or 2 pounds of lactose. Now with the lactose, you can put it in at any point in the boil that you want. I did do some reading on this, and if you want a little bit more sweetness, you can put it, you know, at the end of the boil, or if you don't really want that sweetness, put it in at the beginning. So on this one, because I've never used it before in an IPA, I went ahead and I put it 20 minutes left in the boil. Opened both packets, dumped them in there, stirred it up a little bit, and then decided to let it go. You can put it in secondary or primary, depending whatever you want to try out. It's just if there's any bugs or, you know, anything in there, you're not gonna clean it or sanitize it before it goes in there. So that's why I picked to put it in the boil instead of secondary, keg, primary, anything like that. So my second runnings did come out to 8 bricks, so I was happy with that. Really, you just want to, when I do it, I draw 8 gallons. Usually 8 gallons is what it takes for me to get between 5.5 gallons to 6 gallons in the carboy. And this one with 4 pounds of Citra as a dry hop, I wanted to try and get as much as I could in the carboy, so that way I could have more beer or be at the 5 gallons at the end. So because it was a cold night, my hose was froze, so I had to wait for this to cool down. So I'm doing this at night, transferring it. I think it got down to like 100 degrees, then I went ahead and dumped it. I did make a starter. WLP002 is the yeast on this one, and here it is going. This is about 2 days, so we'll let it sit for about 2 weeks, and then we'll go ahead and dry hop it. So I'll have a tasting here soon. Until next time, happy brewing.
Thank you for watching this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Leave me a comment down below to tell me what you thought about this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe and share, and hit that bell so you know when new videos are coming out. You can check out these videos over here. Also, head over to 31stbrewing.com for everything beer and home brewing related.